So this is a small demo to showcase Zapier in combination with Venly. And our goal for this demo is to create a few NFTs that we will define via Google Sheets, send that information into a Zapier Zap, which will then push it onto the Venly API to create the NFT contract and to mint NFTs from that contract. And then we will use Polygon scan to actually confirm that everything was minted. So the way I like to start is with the action, because then it's easy for me to know which data I need to feed into the action I want to perform. So let's start with Venly here. Currently, the Zapier integration supports two functionalities. One is to create an NFT contract, and the other one is to mint an NFT based on that contract. So let's start with the contract. Next, you have to create or connect your account, which in my case this is already done, but let me just reconnect so we can show you how it works. So the Zap authentication is requesting your client ID and secret as well as the environment. So I'll already select here production. And for your client ID and secret, you can just go to our developer portal, and under the NFT API, you will find your client ID and secret. So if you just copy that to the correct location, it takes like a few seconds to connect. And as you can see, we're connected to our account. Now, if you have previous contracts, these can also be used, of course. Or if you have already NFTs defined via our APIs, they will also become available here. So to create a contract, we are requesting the name of the contract, the description. It's optional to set the symbol. If you don't, we will auto-generate it based on the name. Select the blockchain, an image URL, and an external URL. This is a new demo. This is the name. This is the description of the new demo. Symbol, I'm leaving it blank, and as a blockchain, I'm going to select for this one Polygon. An image URL. Let's take, for example, this icon here. I haven't really prepared any graphics for this demo, and URL is Venly. Voila. Now, normally, so the next step is to test your configuration. But if we test, we will actually call the Venly endpoint immediately. So this is a quick, very quick and dirty way to immediately create an NFT contract. Yep. So this is just a reminder of what we're going to send. Test the step currently is querying or sending the data to the Venly API. And this is the result that we are getting. So the request was accepted correctly. And this is the information that we provide. This is the symbol that we generated. And here is a transaction hash. So if we take the transaction hash and quickly drop it to Polygon scan, you can immediately see that it was successfully deployed. So that's already great. But of course, we are not here to just create the contract. We're going to create the NFT. So switching back to the beginning, shifting my action to create and mint an NFT. Continue, yeah, same account, of course. And now I have a different data set. Here, this is a filter. So I'm going to use Polygon and it will fetch my Polygon contracts. So I have a few of other demos, but this is the one we recently created. So at the end, 3F09, which we can also confirm here. 3F09, this is the contract that we created. Yeah, so is this a fungible contract? No. And then we can define name, description, image URL, external URL, mint address. This is if we want to immediately mint an NFT to a wallet. It's not mandatory, we can do it later. The amount of NFTs we want to mint. If we want to set the max supply, and then a set of attributes if you want to add like certain properties, for example, brand, year, type, whatever you can think of, you can add it here in a JSON array. So now it's time to go to the Zapier sheet I prepared. Well, prepared, I just gave it a name. The first column I'm going to do is status. That's because I want to have a column that can trigger an update if I want to. And then we want to have name, description, image URL. What was image URL? Okay, let's do address as well. And perhaps amount, it's also cool to show. And then attributes. So the status is, let's call it off for now. So name, lacking some imagination at the moment. So say magic moose. This is the description. And image URL. Random image. Okay, let's just take this one. Oh, it's a bit too big. That's nice. Then the address, let's see. Just going to take a random address on the latest transactions, just need to be sure. It's not a contract address. Address. Polygon. Okay, so address, Polygon. Oh no, that's contract. Here. New random address. Let's do one. And attributes. It's the easiest way if I just copy, for example, this. Let's do another one. Let's do 3 in this case. Here we have another random image. Here we go. Fits quite nicely. Yep, the same address. Maybe say just one, perhaps one attribute, and this is like 15. Voilà. So now our sheet is finished. And we can go back into our Zap, modify the trigger here. Say, okay, I want to use a Google Sheet. The event is new or updated sheet row, which is quite interesting because I can actually select a column. Of course, connect your Google account. And the sheet is Zapier demo. And I'm using only one sheet, and my trigger column is status. You don't have to do that. There are other ways you could do that. For example, instead of a Google Sheet, you could also use a form that pushes the data through. I think a Google Sheet works quite nice for this demo. So what happens now is it's actually fetching the data that I already have in the sheet. So I have 2 lines. I can easily switch between the 2. As you can see here, I have the one with 2 and then the one with 1 attribute. So let me just take the first row and continue. So now we're back in the action. Zap, which I semi-configured already, but instead of putting it the name hard-coded, I actually have the data of the row that I selected. So these are basically now becoming variables, which I'm using. And same would work externally well, and let's not define that. This is the address, the number, the amount. External, exploit didn't use that, and then here's the attribute. Okay, continue. So now we're in the same situation where it's showing me the data that is going to feed to the API. So if I test this step, it will actually immediately trigger the creation of row number 1, which we can easily do to see if we don't make any mistake. Great. Creation status is pending. And the creation min's destination address was this one. And I'm looking for, and here is the contract address that we were using with all the information related to that. So let's have a look. This was the contract. Oh yeah, this was the contract. So as you can see here, we have an outgoing transaction. If I go into the details, you will see that it's a transfer that has happened, and it went to this address. Which was the address? C485. C485. Let's just go here. No, wait, I'm in the wrong field. It's the NFT transfer. Make it just a bit easier. And directly go into the address. And then NFT transfers. Here you go. And this is the one. This is a new demo, number 2. This is just transferred 41 minutes ago. Fully minted, very new, and then you see create type, and then non-fungible batch is the function that we called for this one. So if I go from this is the contract, which has been validated. So if I check here, this is a Venly contract, and you can then go to read. Let's check the name here, number 17. This is a new demo. Let me now quickly take the contract and throw it in OpenSea. Then you can see this is a new demo. And the magic mouse has appeared here. Let's check number 2. This is moose. So let's do another one. Let's do a flying dog. But now, before we are doing this, let's publish this app. All right, and then we can follow it normally here in Zap history. So now the Zap is active, which means that if I change this cell on status, it will process this line and it will push it through the Zap. So imagine I have like 100 lines. I can easily control which one is being pushed by changing the field, or I can change them all at once. It's just a way to control the flow, basically. So let's do go. Not really sure how quickly it will be picked up by Zapier. Let me quickly also double check. It's definitely live. Let me also give it a name, otherwise I won't. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's live. Great. History. It hasn't fired yet. Saving. Yep. Yeah, sometimes it takes a bit when you just connect it for the first time to start picking the events up. Let's see if I throw in a full new line. Voila, okay, yeah, now it actually took both of them. Yeah, okay. Well, initially, the first time you actually connect and turn it on, it takes a while before it starts checking the row events, I've noticed. Okay, so going back here, we send it all to the same address, so we should have 7 in total. Wait, let me do the contract, that's easier. So we should have 7. Of course, each run also gives a result, so you can use that result to also push somewhere, because the result will also contain wait, is data in, is the data out? It will also contain valuable information, like we're also putting this on a queue and it's being processed on the queue. Voila. You have to wait a little bit longer. So you have here flying dog. And this one, yeah, is magic moose. So that's a bit the simple way on how to do that with Zapier. So if I want to do it, so if I want to modify now and add the list, my advice would be is to pause the Zap which is also quite easy to do. You just flip the switch, boom. And now it's paused. I can modify here. And then when I change the field, it will be triggered. Maybe it's a good time to show this again. So let's say I'm off, and this is evil cat, for example. Let's turn it back on. Of course, this is a good practice if you have to create multiple NFTs. If it's just like a few, then it's sometimes easier to just use a form. And then you can leave this app on without any issue. Every time the form is triggered, it's being processed. Just going to wait a little bit now before I'm actually going to modify or update the field. Say on. Let's give it a bit of time to see if it starts to process the newly created row. You can actually also follow the contract, of course. For example, here. Where is the... It's also easy. Oh, here were the mints that we've done. So the fact that I don't see 5 means that it hasn't fired yet. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. Probably if I add a new line, it will fire all of them. Yep, let's have a look. I'm also thinking this could be... Yeah. Yeah, it's a Zapier thing here at the moment. Not really sure why it's not actually triggering the run. Oh, yeah, and of course now it did. Jesus Christ. I need to learn to have more patience, apparently. Oh no, wait, it didn't. No, it didn't. Oh no, it did. It's probably just processing. Yeah, and here they are. Yeah, so I need to learn to have more patience. Probably also depends on your Zapier account. If you have a higher tier, they're probably also query it faster. I think it's a bit throttled as well, the one I'm using. But it's, yeah, basically as simple as that. And of course, on the Zap side, here on the Zap side, you can put any trigger you want, or you could also here add a step where you actually add a filter, where you can say, okay, it can only continue if, for example, status exactly matches on, that you can have multiple statuses, so that's also possible. Or when you have a form that people or external people can fill in the background you set a hidden row with a status that is off, and then if you modify it to on, it will be processed, for example. These are all things you can easily do. So let's just have a last look. It was here. Yeah, it's still pending. It's not shown probably yet. No. Still pending to be picked up for processing. Yeah, our system is also built in a way that if for some reason the gas has changed and these transactions are not going to be picked up because the gas setting is too low due to a sudden increase in gas, which could be possible, then we have a retry mechanism, so you don't have to worry. They will be created, they will be processed. If it's not right now, then we will relaunch the transaction. Here you go. So here you go, the flying dog, and here is the evil cat. It's as simple as that. How you can create NFTs with Zapier and the Venly API with very limited to no technical skill at all. So that's it. Thanks for watching.